Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be our review for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 4, I Will Face My Enemy. And guys, this was basically the reason I did not like Sons of Anarchy as much last night, because I was so into this episode. Like, I fucking love this show now. I expected to love it eventually, but, like, I love this show. I think the show is amazing now. And this was by far the best episode of the season. I loved everything about this episode. And one of the things I'm loving that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing this year is they're focusing, they choose to focus specifically on one member of, one agent an episode, and I think that definitely is really cool. And especially the storyline they did in this episode, I thought was definitely very well done, and I loved everything pretty much about it. I thought everything was great. And this episode was just amazing. I loved it. There were so many things I loved about it, and, let's just get to it, because overall I thought it was amazing. And I gotta say, the guy that directs this episode, I agree with everyone saying he needs to direct, like, every single episode, because this episode was action-packed. However, while it was action-packed, it did not drive away from the story. There was just as much story as there was action, and overall, in my opinion, it was just a perfect episode. It really was, and I loved pretty much everything about it. I thought it was just perfect. Perfect episode. No problems with this episode at all. So, let's just get to it. So basically we see in Miami, a bishop is driving up to the house, and the local priest says that his parishioners are still trying to understand the tragedy. So they go to this nearby church, burned into ruins, and the priest shows the bishop a 500-year-old painting of the Madonna. And that was the only thing to survive the fire. And the bishop would have it tested by experts to confirm it's a miracle, and the priest says that there is one more thing. On the back of the painting is a schematic, so that was an interesting way to start the episode. So then out South Beach, Lance is seducing Bridget, and she is a female executive assistant working for Gabriel Soto, and they kiss, and I thought it was fun to see this scene. You know, Lance secretly takes out a security ID from her purse and passes it off to Skye as she goes off on a motorcycle. And Skye drives to the bus and hacks the badge, duplicating it, and Mac pulls up a limo. And then we see Melinda and Coulson. Now, Melinda and Coulson are basically our main focus of this episode. I gotta say, after this episode, Melinda might be my favorite character. I'm just saying. I think after this episode, definitely, I think she's probably my favorite character. They get out at Gabriel's manor, where he's holding a fundraiser to rebuild the church, and they go inside with the IDs that Skye duplicated, and Skye confirms that Gabriel is sending out the painting for verification, and offers to go there. But Coulson says that keeping it to 2 agents will minimize detection, and they figure that the painting and the schematic on it could prove valuable in their efforts. So, we get a really good scene here, and in my opinion, this scene really... I am all for, I don't think this is going to happen soon, but I am all for, at any point, like maybe the end of the season, I am all for a Melinda-Coulson relationship, because I honestly shipped them after this episode. They had such great chemistry in this episode. Like, the chemistry between them was so good. Like, there's a scene, basically, where they have to pretend to be a couple, and they seem so much like a couple. Like, it seemed so real, and it was so well done, in my opinion. And I love that about this episode. I thought it was just so well done, and I love that they did that, really. I thought that was just fantastic. I loved it. And, I thought that was just honestly I was very happy that this happened. So, I thought it was a great scene. Basically, they're laughing and chatting, and she rejoins Coulson. They go radio silent, maintaining their cover. They dance, and Coulson is impressed that Melinda remembers his steps. They spot the guards and cameras, and Melinda claims that she only took dancing lessons at the academy so she could move on to field operations. And as they're dancing, Melinda points out that Coulson's hand was tremoring, and the symptoms are getting worse. So she assures him that the others didn't notice, and that they didn't know that the mission is personal for Coulson, which it is. And Melinda says that she'll pull the plug on the mission if she thinks it's too much for him. But Coulson says they need to make a plan in case he goes the same way that Garrett did. And I thought this scene was definitely very well done, because, he's about to tell her what the plan is, but he doesn't get a chance to tell her. Because Miranda then interrupts to point out that Talbot is nearby getting a drink, and, they can see that Talbot's there. And, that's definitely surprising to see Talbot there. I was definitely surprised that happened. I wasn't expecting to see Talbot there, but there's Talbot. Talbot's right there, and I thought that was definitely very interesting, because, again, I wasn't expecting to see him. So, basically, Coulson goes over to Talbot, and they make amiable small talk, and he thanks the general for not blowing his cover, and assures him that the mission will benefit both of them. But Talbot remains very non-committal, and says that he won't interfere unless he thinks that he needs to. I could tell right here, something was not right with Talbot, because Talbot would not address, Coulson and Melinda like he did. Like, he really was, like... he didn't recognize Coulson or Melinda. That's just the way it works. So, I thought that was definitely very interesting. So on the bus, Lance regales the team with how he met his wife, and Coulson turns on the comms to tell them that Talbot is there. And he says they're going to get the paintings now, and Melinda takes point. She talks to Gabriel, who said that the church was his second home, and Gabriel's surprised that he doesn't remember her, and Melinda passes it off. She flirts with Gabriel, speaking in Spanish, kind of a funny scene here. She calls Coulson over to take, and this scene I thought was absolutely hilarious, I gotta say. I mean, this show is very good when it's dark, but one of the things I love about this show, and these superhero shows in general, is that they do have comedy, and I definitely am enjoying that, especially with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I love that this show knows when to be funny, and knows that it's good when it's funny, because when it's funny, it works, and that's just it, it's funny, and I like that definitely about the show, that basically, the show knows that when it's funny, and I definitely enjoy that. So, basically, what ends up happening is that, Coulson takes over to take a photo of the two of them as a memento, and Coulson scans Gabriel's retinas and captures his facial structure, and they quickly leave with Melinda, and as they go, they spot Talbot talking with a security guard, and they figure that he's going to blow their cover, because they think that maybe he knows what they're doing, and they're kind of worried about what's going to happen there. So, Coulson and Melinda, they go to the vault, knocking out a guard, and Coulson uses the retinal pattern he captured to open the security lock, and they take the elevator down, and Sky guides them through, and they come to a laser guard grid, and as Coulson prepares to bypass it, Melinda walks through, pointing out they already knew they're here. And I gotta say, one of the things that the episode did definitely very well, in my opinion, is that right away, it started with a very intense action scene. It started right away with, a very interesting plot, and I thought that was we're only 15 minutes into the episode, and the episode was already amazing. So, basically, Melinda walks through, pointing out they already knew that they're here, and then the security guard mobilizes, and Coulson and Melinda search the vault without success, and Sky confirms that Talbot took possession of the painting that morning. So, Talbot then makes a call to Whitehall and says that he has the painting, but S.H.I.E.L.D. is already there. And he sends them a photo of Coulson and Melinda and asks if he should commit, and Whitehall says that he has a new plan. And you can tell right away, definitely, this is not actually Talbot. This is some guy, who is an imposter. So, Coulson and Melinda, they go outside, and Melinda figures that Coulson is enjoying himself. And I thought this was a definitely very well done, very good scene in my opinion. He says they're going to have a real conversation about the plan, and basically he finally tells her what the plan is, because he didn't get to tell her at first. So, Talbot, meanwhile, is waiting for them, and figures that they were there for the same thing, and he wants Coulson to help him figure out what the writing is, and they says they'll have to examine it in a security military facility. And Coulson agrees, but says that he has to check in with his team first, and Talbot gives him an hour and tells him to meet him at the Hotel Ona in an hour, and once the general leaves, Coulson and Melinda both figure that Talbot is working them. He's, they figure out right here that he's not actually Talbot. Melinda goes after Talbot, assuring Coulson that she'll handle if anything goes wrong. And I gotta say, Melinda, total badass in this episode, total badass. We'll get to why in a second, but, we'll get to why in a little while, but, seriously, Melinda is the ultimate badass of the show. Everyone who says, I heard a lot of people say, this show is one of the most kick-ass villain, female characters on TV right now. I didn't believe that last year, but after watching this episode, oh yeah, totally. I definitely agree that Melinda is definitely badass. Now, she is definitely, she's there to be cute with Coulson. You got that chemistry going, but when she needs to fight, she fights, and it's definitely is very well done. So, then at the bus, Sky is doing research on Gabriel, and Trip comes in and figures that she's digging to find out what they're not being told. And they discuss relationships, and Sky points out that her former crush is actually their prisoner. So they're talking, and Fish, this is not Gotham. Fitz is still, unfortunately, seeing hallucinations of Jemma. Even though it seemed like that was done in episode 3, it seems like he's still seeing hallucinations of her. And she suggested he bond with others, but Fitz walks away. So I'm kind of starting to think of what Jemma's purpose is here. Jemma's kind of like his conscience at this point. Like, when he sees Jemma, that's kind of his inner conscience, what he thinks he should do. And I definitely like that they're doing it. I think that definitely is very cool, and I don't know if I've seen really a show do that, but, a superhero show do that, and I think it definitely is a very cool storyline. I'm really enjoying Fitz's storyline. So, I thought that was definitely really cool, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really awesome. So, then we get a really intense scene. Thought this was awesome. Melinda goes into the hotel and makes her way to Talbot's room because, he wanted to see them. And Agent 33 is inside. Now, if you remember, Agent 33 worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. but betrayed them. We cannot trust this girl because she worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., but she's not actually working for them. And we know this. We know she's not working for them. I'm not sure if they know that, I don't know if they know that she is, not actually working with them. At this point, I don't think they did. A little bit later on in the episode, I think now they do, but, at this point, I don't know if they really knew that she's not really working for them. That's just my opinion. I don't think they know. So, basically, what ends up happening is that, basically, Agent 33 is inside, going over photos of Coulson and Melinda from the party. Melinda goes in and captures her, asking what she's done with Talbot, and Talbot comes in, swings at Melinda, who quickly realizes that he's actually wearing a holographic mask. And again, I could just tell this was not Talbot. It turns out it's actually S.H.I.E.L.D. And that was an awesome twist. I love that they did that. I thought that was fantastic because S.H.I.E.L.D. and Whitehall are basically our main villains here. Well, you do have Creel, but, they are two main villains, and Agent 33 takes Melinda from behind, S.H.I.E.L.D. figures that they're going to have to send someone in that Coulson trusts, and the two Hydra agents take blood samples from Melinda and play back a recording of her voice, and they make a new holographic mask for Agent 33. Basically, Agent 33 is going to pose as Melinda. That's what they're going to do there. She's going to pose as Melinda, while they are torturing Melinda, and I'm going to talk about, what ends up happening to her. So, I didn't really know what was going to happen to Melinda, but, I already knew, okay, this is about to get awesome. So, S.H.I.E.L.D. tells Agent 33 to get Coulson back there, hands her device to neutralize Coulson's team, and Agent 33 dials Coulson, says that she'll pick him up, and S.H.I.E.L.D. traces Coulson's location, and the disguise Agent 33 heads out. So, our plan's working so far, and I thought, honestly, it was a genius plan, really awesome stuff, and just really awesome. So, Fitz then goes to the lab and he looks around very despondent, and Jemma tells him that running away isn't the answer, and figures that he's avoiding something. And Fitz points out that he's having trouble talking recently, and Jemma says that he should just tell them what he's feeling. He should tell them, what's going on and everything. And he says he's not a part of the team anymore and is upset that they changed the lab without asking him. But Jemma says that Fitz has to let them see what he's like underneath. And I agree with Jemma says. Definitely, he needs that. He needs to do that. So, I almost feel like Jemma is a part of his conscience, but the reason that Jemma is such a big part of his conscience is because he loved Jemma. Jemma was a big part of his life, and even, that's why he's still seeing Jemma, because she's such a big part of his life, and the reason why, he can't let go of her is because she basically is his conscience, and I think that definitely is very cool. I think that's a really awesome thing, and, I definitely think that's really awesome what they're doing. I'm definitely into that. So, yeah, so I thought that was definitely really cool. So the disguise Agent 33 comes in, and Fitz tells her that Coulson's upstairs, and in the lounge, Agent 33 orders Coulson to talk to her privately. And the Hydra agent claims that Talbot is being very honest and insists on going on with him to meet with Talbot. And as they go, Agent 33 attaches the device to the ship's electronic systems, and then we find out what happened to Melinda, and it is just, crazy what happened to her. She is tied to a chair, and at this point, I'm like, okay, this episode is extremely amazing. At this point, that's when I knew the episode was fantastic, because I thought that was an awesome twist, that she basically is being tortured by S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. asks why she's interested in the painting. She refuses to give him anything useful. S.H.I.E.L.D. said that he serves a man who has an effective way to get information, and the Hydra agent tells her that she will comply, and then pulls down an electrical wire and starts torturing her. And I was kind of wondering who's the man that has an effective way. I thought that was definitely very interesting that he said that. And basically, he then starts torturing her, and it's really intense at this point. Just a really awesome scene. And meanwhile, they're driving, Coulson and who he thinks is Melinda are driving off. And Coulson is bringing up the contingency plan. And Agent 33 is doing her best to play along, basically making it seem like she knows what he's talking about. And Coulson says that after she takes him out, S.H.I.E.L.D. will need a new director. Basically, that's Coulson's plan, is that if something bad happens to Coulson, Melinda will take him out. Now, we don't know specifically what he means, but basically, he wants her to take over, and she's smiling, and Agent 33 says that she understands and take Coulson's hand. And you can see it's definitely an evil smile. You can just tell right away, it definitely is an evil smile. So, Fitz comes back to the lounge just as the lights flicker, and then they go out, and all the exits look up as the systems think that they've made a water landing. And Fitz finds the device and says that it's based on S.H.I.E.L.D. tech and the plane will soon explode. So, that was definitely really big. So Coulson and Agent 33 go to the hotel room, and Coulson suggests they get a cup of coffee they missed years ago, and Agent 33 agrees, but Coulson punches her, and he says three words that I thought were really interesting, and really, again, it really shows how much Melinda and Coulson know about each other. He says Melinda hates coffee, and he realizes right away this is not actually Melinda, this is actually Agent 33, and Sunil hears the fighting outside, goes to investigate. Luckily, Melinda is able to free herself and goes after the Hydra agent, and Fitz is trying to analyze the virus going through the plane's electrical systems. Mac works with him, and they realize that the virus will soon reach the fuel tanks. And Coulson and Agent 33 have this really cool fight going on. I gotta say, the choreography and like the fight scenes this episode were awesome. I loved all the choreography. I thought they were all really intense, really awesome stuff going on. Just awesome. I loved it. I loved all the fight scenes in this episode. So then we see Melinda basically become an extreme badass because she joins the fight. She's literally like beating the shit out of Agent 33. She's squaring off, and Sunil runs out the painting, and Coulson goes after him while Melinda and Agent 33 fight. An awesome fight scene here, just really awesome choreography to this fight scene. Fitz and Lance run to the fuel tanks, and Fitz says that he'll need Lance to act as his hands while the others try to contain the damage. So I like this bonding between Fitz and Lance. I definitely do enjoy that. And then Sentinel calls for reinforcements just as Coulson takes him down with a night-night bullet. And yeah, so Agent 33 pins Melinda, then says that she knows all of Melinda's moves, but Melinda says she doesn't know all of them, and that was awesome. Fitz directs Lance how to override the virus, and the two women take the fight into the suite's kitchen. Agent 33 grabs two knives, and Melinda disarms her and finally takes her down. That moment was when I'm like, okay, Melinda's probably my favorite character now, because if she can take down someone like that, she can take down anyone. I thought that was really awesome, just because it seemed like she was, like, an unstoppable, she seemed like she was unstoppable, and Melinda stopped her like that, so I thought that was really awesome when that happened, and I loved everything about that. That was just an awesome fight scene, and really, really badass, like, fight scene going on. I loved it. I thought it was just definitely one of the best parts of the episode. Actually, probably my favorite part of the episode. I thought it was awesome, and I loved that, definitely. So, I'm definitely looking forward to, hopefully seeing more fights from Melinda in the future, because she really is a badass when she fights. So, Lance finally locates the right wires, and the power comes up, and the mercenary gives Fitz a high five. And I thought that was overall a good scene. And basically, Coulson then picks up the painting, and Hydra agents are calling on Sunil's phone saying that they're on their way. And Agent 33 recovers, grabs Melinda, preparing to stab her with a pair of scissors. Melinda grabs the wires that Sunil used to torture her, shorts out the mask, stunning Agent 33, and she and Coulson get out just ahead of the Hydra soldiers. So, that was basically what ended up happening there. That was basically the end of the action, and I thought that was definitely a really good way to end it, because it was, I was really into it. And the thing about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I like is that they don't try to do too much action. They try to make this show as dialogue-driven as possible. That's something I like about all of these superhero shows. Arrow's dialogue-driven, The Flash is dialogue-driven, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s dialogue-driven. When they have time for fight scenes, there's time for fight scenes, but, like, it's as dialogue-driven as possible. Gotham is not as dialogue-driven, like, there's a lot more fight scenes and things like that, but, however, these three shows are definitely very dialogue-driven. So, Coulson picks up the painting, and basically, I just read this. So the next day, the team returns to the playground, and Fitz is reworking in the lab, and I really like this next scene. We see Lance and Fitz are kind of bonding, and Lance comes in and hands out beers to Mac and Fitz to celebrate, and Fitz tries to step out, but Lance assures him that the team wouldn't be alive without him, and, because Fitz felt like he wasn't a part of the team anymore, and it was great to see Fitz realize, hey, I am a part of the team, and I'm just as much as part of the team as anyone else is, and I thought that was great. So, Jemma nods to Fitz, and after a moment, he picks up a beer and joins in, and he then starts talking about his own ex taking Mac and Lance by surprise. And after a moment, Lance tells Fitz that it's her loss, whoever she is, and they share a toast to moving on. And basically, we know who it is. It's Jemma that he's talking about. That's who he's talking about. I'm pretty sure it is at this point, because I don't think he'd see all this vision to Jemma for nothing. I feel like that is definitely his ex. I didn't watch season 1, so I don't know, but I think it was his ex. But I definitely feel like, I thought that team was definitely very good. I like the bonding between Lance and Fitz, and I think definitely because of this bonding, this is going to be able to make Fitz be able to basically get over this. I think definitely he's going to get over this. So, it's going to take some time, but he's going to get over this, and I think Lance is definitely going to help. I like the friendship between them now. So, Trip then finds Sky researching the painting, and she assures him that it's nothing. So then we get one last scene with Coulson and Melinda. Then we, of course, go to the post-credit scene. But I loved this last scene. I thought this was awesome. Because Coulson contacts Talbot and tells him what happened. And this is the real Talbot. Talbot says that Coulson should hand over the painting, but he claims it was destroying the fight. And once Coulson signs off, Melinda figures that it's bad that Hydra's looking for the alien schematics. And Coulson tells her that's actually not that's not the whole problem here, because while the painting is a 500 years old, the writing on the painting is brand new. And I thought that was a fantastic twist, because someone like Coulson is out there, and basically, he wants to find them, maybe recruit them to S.H.I.E.L.D, and possibly, I'm wondering if maybe he wants to recruit this person to S.H.I.E.L.D, because I don't think they're from Hydra. I feel like he wants to recruit someone from S.H.I.E.L.D, and Melinda promises that we'll find them, and then asks about Agent 33, what Agent 33 did to give herself away, and he explains about the coffee, and then says that he won't stop asking her to set up a plan. And we finally find out what the plan is, because Melinda shows him the fake passports and tickets that she's got for him, and promises to get him out if things go wrong. But basically, the plan is that she will shoot Coulson in the head and kill him no matter what. And she's saying, she would never do that, and she assures Coulson that she'll take care of him no matter what, and he says it's the most selfless thing that she could do. However, he wants her to kill him no matter what, and he says that hard choices are coming, and he needs her to do it for him, because she needs to. She needs to be the team player here, basically. So, after a moment, she finally agrees, but I don't know if Melinda's gonna 100% keep this promise. I don't know if she's going to, because I don't know. I'm sure Coulson's not going to die. He's the main character of the show. There's no way he's going to die. If he does die, Melinda will be the main character, and I like seeing that. So, I really hope we get more of this Coulson-Melinda dynamic. What really made this episode great, in my opinion, was the Coulson-Melinda dynamic. That's really what I loved about this episode. So then, of course, we go to the post-credit scene, and holy shit, the post-credit scene in this episode was amazing. I loved it. So, Raina is scheduling a flight to Miami after seeing an article about the stolen painting, and Hydra agents capture her, and Whitehall introduces himself. And he points out that she took the obelisk from him, and one of the agents attaches her to a small device to her hands, and Whitehall uses a remote to take control of her, and gives her 48 hours to bring the obelisk back, and basically, if she fails, Whitehall's going to torture her. And we basically find out that he will torture her for weeks because he's done it before. He frees her and leaves, and Raina gasps for breath. So, Raina has a very hard decision to make here. Does she want to do this? That's my question, does she want to do this? Because I thought that she, it seemed like I knew that she couldn't be trusted, but at this point, maybe I don't think she wants to actually help Whitehall with this. I think that she doesn't want to, because I just don't think that she's basically being forced to. She has to do what Whitehall says, or he's going to torture her, so she has to help him, no matter what. Like, that's just what she needs to do. But I don't know if she necessarily wants to. That's my question, does she really want to do this? I personally don't think she does, but we'll have to see. Now, Melinda. I do not know if Melinda's going to end up taking Coulson out. We'll have to see what happens. I don't know if she's going to keep this promise to him, but we'll have to see. And again, do you guys ship Melinda and Coulson? I really do. After these last two episodes, like the scene last week's episode where it was like really cute between them, I ship them, and especially after this episode, I now ship them like crazy. They're not one of my top ships, but I definitely, out of all the couples I ship on the show the most, they're the one I definitely ship the most. Like, I really do want these two to get together. I think these two should get together. Not right now, but in the future. I definitely feel like they have a lot of chemistry. Also, do you feel that Lance is going to help Fitz get over this whole Jemma thing? I really feel like he's going to. And Fitz, I feel, is definitely not over Jemma. You can definitely see on this episode that he's not over Jemma, and I think that definitely is really interesting. What's going to happen there. I'm looking forward to that, definitely. Also, whoever wrote the new writing on that painting, are they part of S.H.I.E.L.D. or are they part of Hydra? That's what I want to know. Now, granted, there is no S.H.I.E.L.D. What I'm saying is, are they part of Coulson's side or are they part of Hydra? That's all I want to know. But overall, this episode was absolutely amazing. I loved it, and I thought everything about it was really awesome. Awesome, action-packed stuff going on. They really are upping up this, the stakes are higher and higher every episode, and I love that about the show. The show gets more and more intense as it goes on, and definitely this season, no exception. So I love that, definitely. And that's it, my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for Awkward. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.